There we go. And say we don't want to see that on there the whole time. Okay, so we're recording, so I need to share my screen, otherwise it's not going to show up as anything. So we want to share. There we go. All right, we're screen sharing, and I believe we're recording. Okay, excellent. So let's see. So we look at Blackboard, the announcements tab, that's an archive of all those emails I've sent. Well, I've sent, I think, 2, but so that'll just be the archive of all those announcements. So you probably won't really ever click on there. The syllabus tab, that's going to be a link to our syllabus as well as our course calendar. There's also something called a course outcome summary. That is put out by the state of Wisconsin. There are 14 technical colleges within the Wisconsin state system. We're one of them. Another one would be like Blackhawk in Janesville, MATC in Racine area, Milwaukee area. And they basically give us the breakdown of what we're supposed to check off. So anyway, if you're ever wondering why are we doing what we're doing, it's that course outcome summary from the state. They're the state requirements. So all of our checkoffs are in there. All right, let's take a peek at the syllabus. Okay. And again, you guys all can see this from your computers. I know this, I can't blow this up too much. Yeah, I can see that you guys are in there. Again, 1140 to 140. We're going to go until December 7th. Oh, these strengths. I want to talk about that just real briefly. You guys that are taking the Gateway to Success, you'll be doing some strengths training. They're kind of like personality quizzes, you know, just trying to analyze what your strengths are. So mine came up as this: learner, achiever, responsibility, consistency, and analytical. Anyway, that's something that you'll see more of in your Gateway to Success class. My email address, phone number. Again, email is going to certainly be the best way to reach me. I'm almost never in my office. This is a link to the Zoom room, just like the same one that's in the same link that's in your Blackboard. In my office hours, so if you need to meet outside of class, we can meet in Zoom on Wednesdays between 11 and 2. So if you need, and that's not, you know, if you have questions and you need to meet for office hours, you know, we can meet here after, we can talk after class if you want. We can meet before class if you want. Okay, so those office hours aren't, you know, in stone. I mean, they are in stone. I'll always be available Wednesdays from 11 to 2. But if that doesn't work, if you just want to meet before class or after class, we can certainly do that too. Okay. Let's see. So that's just some of the basic administrative stuff. Course info. This just goes through a brief description of what we're doing in here. Our focus is really on what is it. So we're going to be looking at what is it. We won't really talk too much about how does it work. That's for advanced. So we'll spend most of the time just breaking down what is this body part called. Pretty straightforward. There's a lot of body parts. We'll start with, like this, you can see the cell models in the back corner. We'll look at the micro scale first, of course. So we'll look at the micro scale, and then we'll build up to the macro, to the organ level. We won't spend a lot of time on cells, so don't worry if cells aren't your thing. Okay. Let's see. Textbook wise, we do use virtual text. I'll pull those up in a few minutes. OpenStax is the primary lecture textbook. If you prefer a hard cover of a textbook, if you want the OpenStax one, they should have it on Amazon. I say should because they may be sold out right now. I don't know. but you can get hardcover OpenStax text through Amazon. You probably get them on eBay too, or half.com, or ebooks or whatever. But if you really want a hard copy of this text, it goes for like 50 to 60. It's not too expensive. Most anatomy textbooks are like $300. They're expensive. So the OpenStax text is fairly inexpensive relatively. So if you do desire a hardcover, you can order one off of Amazon more than likely. I have some hard textbooks in my office. Anatomy is not much different from textbook to textbook, right? We don't want nurses learning different names for stuff because they had a different textbook in a different school. And a humorist is a humorist, no matter what textbook you use. So I have multiple texts as well. So you're welcome to borrow one of those if you really would prefer to have a hardcover and you can't give me that. So just let me know. I'll loan out as long as I get it back. I'll loan out. I have a handful of hardcover textbooks. Okay, just let me know. Let me know today. I can go in my office and get them. Let's see. So that's the link that'll take you to OpenStax. All these links are in Blackboard as well. Visible body, if you haven't registered yet, I know a couple of you have. If you haven't purchased and registered for visible body, you're going to need to do that. I have instructions in Blackboard on how to go through and do all of that. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Let's see. Course outcome summary, that's that same thing that's in Blackboard. All right, so this is where students are most interested in, usually in going. The grading scale. The whole course is out of 1,220 points. And these are the lower point limits. So if you to get an A, you have around 1134. To get an A minus, 1098. So these are the point values and the ranges you need to have to get whatever grade you're aiming to get. I think most, if not all of you, being nurses, you need to have a B to move on. So you need to be around 1,000 points. I mean, if you're generally, if you put forth the effort and you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and you end up in this range, you're probably going to get a B. Because I think even a B minus, you'd have to retake it. I would do that to you. You've got 82.9%. That's pretty close to it. So anyway, you want to be around 1,000 points or higher. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So anyhow, how are you going to get graded? We've got a couple of items. You what are called Padlets. It's like a wiki board. So I'll pull those up. What a wiki board is, it's basically a couple of video links, and then you can make comments. So some of you that have done online classes have maybe done discussion boards. Okay, I don't do discussion boards, but I do Padlets instead. Padlets are more for us. They're a little more interesting. They go along with what we're doing. So anyway, I'll talk about those in more detail. You have we do 5 units. So you have 5 unit lab assignments. They're 100 points each. You have visible body quizzes. They're very short. It seems like a 45 of them, but which seems like a ton. It's not. They're very short. They're to the point. You do about 3 of them a week. They take like 10 minutes. That's it. So we're here for 15 weeks. So you have like 3 of those on average per week. And they're all in visible body. Then you have 1 final exam with 150 points. It's all multiple choice, comprehensive. You do have multiple attempts to take it. It's from a question bank or test bank. So if you take it a second time, you might see some different questions, which is okay. You know, you can take it multiple times. And it keeps your highest score. So anyway, that'll be available. That's actually already available. You could technically take the final now to see how you do, just based on what you know before you even do the course, and then take it at the end. Take it in the middle, take it anyway. Do it however you want, but it's available. It's not timed or anything. Just take your time to, like I say, you want to be as close to 100% on everything you do, just like you would be in the clinic. I don't want my nurse to be a 75 or 80% sure about the dosage. I need my nurse to be 100% sure about the dosage, even if the nurse had to look it up, even if the nurse had to ask somebody. Okay, I want 100%. Okay? Well, I don't want it. My patient needs it. So, yeah, therefore I need it because I don't want my insurance going through the roof because of a bungle. Because they thought they were sure, kind of 85% sure. Okay, closures, we're Tuesday, we don't have any closures. I think we meet, Thanksgiving week, we may not meet. But after Thanksgiving break, we only have 2 weeks to go. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But as far as I can tell, Labor Day's on a Monday, Thanksgiving's Thursday and Friday, something else. Oh, we have if you have any Wednesday classes, Wednesday, the 28th or 9th, whatever, I think it's the 29th, the college is closed. We have an employee learning day. So the college is basically closed Wednesday, the 29th of September. So if you have classes that day, if you have a meet, if you want to get tutoring that day, or the college isn't open. So basically, like a college holiday. Even though they make us work, we have to go through some training that day. Okay. Now the last thing really that you'd want to maybe look at is the section calendar. And again, that link is also right here in Blackboard. So you can get right to the course calendar from Blackboard. You don't have to go into the syllabus to get it. Course calendar is an important document. This is kind of your check-offs of the path that we go. So got it broken up into our modules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or units, I guess you could call them, 5 units. So the first unit is just your basic intro. So you want to look at your chapter reading and OpenStax, chapter 1, Visible Body Lab, number 1. And again, I'll pull those up, we'll go through them a little bit. We don't do any dissections till a little bit later. But next week, we'll look at the cell model a little bit. We'll do some tissues and skin stuff, and then that concludes unit 1. So, and again, I'll pull up, there's an assignment that goes with this unit, as well as a couple other items. Okay. So, kind of how that rolls. We do dissect sheep brains, pig hearts. We look at a sheep GI tract, and I think their kidneys we have are, I think they're pig. They might be sheep. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll look at some body parts and dissect them a little bit later in the semester. Okay. So that's your course calendar. Okay, so that's the syllabus tab. Again, that course outcome summary. You click on that, it'll take you to kind of the objectives and really what we're doing. Textbook info, if you click that, it'll take you to, it's got a hyperlink for OpenStax. So if you click that link, it'll take you to the textbook that we use. Now from here, you can see that, I'll blow it up a little bit. You can see there's a order a print copy option. If I click that, I believe it takes me to Amazon. order a personal copy. Yep, to take me to Amazon. Nice, it's in stock and it's $50. That's a really solid deal for a textbook, and it's identical. It's the same, and it's going to be, you know, like a boat anchor, going to be big coffee table book. Okay. So there you go. You can get them. They'll be in by Labor Day, it looks like. Excellent. I haven't ordered an A&P one, but I ordered a algebra and a chemistry one for my one daughter's 14, so they're doing open. So anyway, I ordered, and yeah, I'm impressive. I mean, it's the textbook. The cover even looks like that. Anyway, I'm telling you, a $50 brand new A&P textbook, that's probably from the 1960s. You would have had those prices. Textbooks have always been expensive. I went to college in the early 90s, and I think my A&P textbook, which was paperback, wasn't even hardcover, was like $120 in 1993. So yeah, this is a smoking deal. If you guys like hardcover texts or physical texts, there you go. You can download the PDF. Again, you don't necessarily need to do that because the book is right here. It's in OpenStack. So you just click view online and you'll be able to view the textbook. And there it is. And you can do highlighting. You can search items. You can just type in any term and search it, and it'll pull up over on the side all the different spots where you find that term. A couple of other items too. Not only does it have, you know, the textbook material, but you'll notice it has key terms. One of the assignments, your unit assignments, involve definitions and terminology. This is where I would look to get those definitions. What else does it have? Key terms. It has just a basic review. The idea of reading a textbook isn't very appealing, whether it's an e-text or a physical. It doesn't matter, right? I'm not going to sit down and cover. I've never in my life read a textbook cover to cover. Nobody in their right mind could do that. Bless you. So say that again. Correct. I mean, like word, reading. Well, I think every learner is different. Okay. Some learners are what we know are read-write learners. They learn by reading and writing. Some learners are more visual. They like to watch videos. They can makes more sense. Some like putting things together. Like I give you a model, break it apart, and say, put this model back together. You'll look kinesthetic, right? You'll learn better that way. Some really learn by audio. If they hear it. Like some students like audio books. You know, they kind of read along while someone else is reading to it. We have that here. If you prefer that, student services can audio language for it. So anyway, those are your options. No, I never tell anybody what to do. Other than 3 females, so I learned a long time ago. Don't tell anyone. Just make suggestions. So yeah, my recommendation and suggestion is to approach your classes however works best for you from your past. Now, some students really think that they're kinesthetic learners. They like touching things and putting stuff together. And they think that's good and they like it, but their brain tells me otherwise. Sometimes those are distractions. So they don't retain the information. The idea is retention of information. sometimes too much kinesthetic is too many distractions. So they get caught up in the stuff and they don't see the big picture. Just like reading. Sometimes we read and we may miss things because we're stuck just in that tunnel. So you have multiple options. And whatever has worked for you in the past, you guys have all had experience in academics, and you know what has worked and what hasn't, regardless of the teacher. The teacher may say you have to do it this way, and you do it that way, and you don't do so well. But you do it a different way that worked for you, and you did well, but the teacher didn't like it because it wasn't their way. Well, that doesn't fly. Everybody learns it. Now, what I would recommend for everybody is at the end, see it says chapter review. For me, that should be more of a chapter preview. I would not just dive in and start reading page of any chapter. I would go right to the review and read those paragraphs. So 1.1 tells me what 1.1 talks about. So then I go back in and I click on 1.1 and it's like 10 pages. This just broke that 10 pages down into a nice paragraph. That doesn't mean I don't go back into 1.1, maybe kind of peruse it or scan it. The thing about anatomy is it's Greek and Latin based. So the terminology as we go, you're just reading it, is going to be maybe a little bit difficult. When you see terms with definitions, like the key terms one, that's also very beneficial to you. So the review for me is maybe more of a preview. Then you can review it at the end too. Another thing that students, a great way of reading a text is you have review questions. You have interactive link questions and you have critical thinking questions. You have questions. So some students will pull up the questions and they'll read the text by trying to answer the questions. You see what I mean? So you read through the question and then you go hunt for the answer. As opposed to reading everything and then going to the questions and then what did I just read? I read a whole bunch of stuff, you know. So that's your path to reading it. Go after the questions, and as you're finding the answers to the questions, you're actually reading the material. Okay. So the traditional just start at page 1 and read chapter 1 by next week. Again, after 20-some years and thousands of students, I know it's less than 5% probably actually read chapter 1. And that's okay. I'm not here to say all these 95% that didn't are bad people. I'm just saying everybody learns differently. And you have many, many options. But you definitely need to look through chapter 1 and you need to take some, you can highlight things, but yeah, the Padlets are videos that go with chapter 1, for instance. So you can, some visual learners prefer watching YouTube videos of things going on. I know I do. I love video. I could sit, you could show me YouTube videos and I'll walk away and remember what's going on. You could read me something, then ask me what you just read, and I would be like, I don't know. I was too busy looking at the cool stuff on the wall, right? So I'm more of a visual person. So everybody's different, right? If it's interesting, though, I'll listen to it all day. If it's music, I'll listen to it. So if you're going to sing and play music with anatomy as your thing, I'm here for that. I'm a record collector. I've been collecting vinyl records for 30 plus years. So yeah, I love audio, but not like. So, but it doesn't matter what I like or what works for me. Most students are multimodal. They like a little bit of all of it, right? A little bit of hands-on is great, right? A little bit of video is awesome. A little bit of reading and writing doesn't get any better than that. then throw in some audio, and you've got the total package. And I think that's really where all of us naturally come from, what we call multimodal. All right. So anyhow, so yes, you can read through it. There are some very good illustrations and images. So you can see even how each section is set up. The textbook's very nicely done, where you could read through 1.1 without too much, not too much strain. Okay, same with 1.2. So yes, I do want you to go through these. How you approach it and how you read them is totally up to you. Okay. So again, you've got critical thinking questions, review questions as well. I don't collect these. I don't ask you to, I don't require that you do these. It's recommended, again, as an option for how you learn. Instead of reading through the chapter, maybe you take these questions and you just answer those questions by going through the chapter. That's a great way of retaining info for some students. Anyway, so try it out. Some of you haven't been in school for a while. Some of you have been in school, but it's been maybe a more traditional, rigid setting. So you guys are all coming from different backgrounds, I suppose, both near past background and far past backgrounds, right? So this is your opportunity to really just kind of maybe figure out what does work for you. It's called VARK, VARK, VARK. If you type VARK into Google, it'll come up with a questionnaire, right? It's the VARK questionnaire. You can go through this questionnaire and you answer more than, you can answer more than one, but it gives you little mini scenarios. And then at the end, it basically tells you what type of learner you are, just based on these questions. And it'll give you kind of a percentage of each one. So VARK stands for visual, audio, read, and kinesthetic. So likely at the end of and it's short, it's like 20 questions, maybe 30. And again, you can answer more than one. You can have more than one answer. So I want to save more money, decide between a range of options. I would talk with an expert, read a brochure, consider examples of options, use graphs. So maybe a couple of them make sense. So click them both. But anyway, you go through it and click it, and it'll kind of give you an idea, just based on this questionnaire, maybe what style of learning suits you best. Because like I say, maybe your whole education or academic life, you really think that you like a certain way, but you maybe haven't had much success, but you really think that's the way it should be. Then you take this, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not that at all. I do like this, but anyway, those are just guideposts for learning. All right, so let's get back on track. So that's your OpenStax text. Visible body. How to use visible body. Before I click on it, I have some how to use visible body information. Our course link is in here as well. So if you click on that, should take you to our course. So Cassie's in, Yesenia is in, Isabel and Daniela. Not to put, let's see, Jacob, let's see, and Hannah. I think that's it. So Jacob and Hannah, you guys good with being able to get into visible body?
I picked up
You've got the awesome, cool. Okay, so you'll just, how about you, Hannah? You're good on that one? Okay, good, excellent. I'm not putting you guys on the spot. I just figured if you need help, I'm here now to help you. So yeah, you just click this, I believe, visible body. Will also take you to the course, but if you haven't signed in or logged in, then it'll take you to how to do all of that. And I'll talk about visible body in more detail in just a few minutes. Let's see what else. So that's syllabus, textbook info, instructor info. If you've got a little insomnia, late at night and you're like, oh man, I'm having trouble sleeping, just read through that. That'll knock you out. Some boring stuff about me that they want to put in there. Student resources. So I click student resources. This is not just for this class. The student resources tab has got a bunch of stuff in it that relates to the college itself. How to access virtual tutoring. If you need tutoring, we do have in-person tutoring as well at the Learning Center. How to join Zoom. I think I pretty much shown you how you can join Zoom. I've got my own tab there for that. How to send email through Blackboard, how to submit an assignment in Blackboard, and I'll go through that one as well. It's pretty straightforward. We do have Microsoft Office for free. So if you need Microsoft Office, which would be like Word and PowerPoint and Excel, you can get that for free. So it shows you how to do that. I actually use Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides, which is basically the same thing, just in Google. I don't have to pay, you don't have to pay for it. Well, you guys get it free anyway. Student services, campus resources, Maxient report. This one here, if you ever experience anything that's kind of intense or egregious, if you know, somebody, you know, out in the parking lot is, you know, I don't know, smashing your window of your car or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But if something weird goes on that isn't normal, a Maxient report is kind of like an incident report. It goes to the campus security people and all right. Oh, maybe something that's kind of extreme. Maybe something more simplistic, like you notice that there's a light out in the parking lot. By, you know, it was on when you went in, and then you came out, and you're like, oh no. I mean, I don't expect you to go that far, but anyway, it's there. The main thing they have it lit for students too is if you've had a COVID, if you are diagnosed with COVID during like today, you go home and you're sick, you're kind of sniffly, you go to the doctor tomorrow and you test positive for COVID, you have to fill out a Maxient report. It's just so the school can determine whether, you know, it's basically contact tracing. It's part of your contact tracing. So if you've tested positive for COVID 6 months ago, you don't need to do a Maxient report. Okay? This is for current. And you have to let me know too. You have to let your instructor know that you've tested positive for COVID. It's not like the scarlet letter or anything like that. It's for contact tracing. Any like vaccinations and boosters and masks, and we're not going to talk about any of that here. That's none of my business, and it's none of your business. So, but what is our business is the masks. The schools, as mine falls over my face, the school is requiring us to have these, and I'm okay with it. I do what I'm told. Yeah. It is a lot easier to talk without one, but doesn't matter. And that's the other thing, guys. If you're, I think point A1 through Z1, it just involves, if you're not feeling good, then stay home. Don't come in here. That's simple. Don't go out and do anything if you don't feel good. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Now there's asymptomatic and all kinds of stuff. Hell, you know, you could get hit by a truck if you walk outside and you're not paying attention. So, I mean, anything can happen at any moment. So, I mean, just if you don't feel good, stay home, wear a mask, and wash your hands and all that good stuff. All right, now student accident insurance. You may not know this existed. I actually just found out a week ago it did. It's hidden away somewhere in the Gateway College web world, but I put a link in here. Student accident insurance is, I think it's $50. I don't know, $450 a semester. That's pretty cheap. The cost of student accident is $4.50. accident coverage of $50,000 per injury with 0 deductible. So if you're in here, because we dissect, right? If you're in here and you slice your hand with a scalpel, I hope you don't, but it's happened. And it's bad enough that EMS has to show up and you got to get taken out and you got to get stitches and that's coming out of your pocket. Unless, I mean, unless you have insurance, the school's not going to cover it. So for $4.50, you can, we have trip and fall insurance, right? If you slip coming in, you hit your, you break your tailbone on the, that comes out of us. The school will pay for that. But something that happens that you do to yourself in the class, it's prevented students from getting medical attention. We had one guy who was bleeding. I mean, after 10 minutes, he was still bleeding. It wasn't in one of my classes, it was one of my colleagues. They couldn't get it to stop after 10 minutes. I mean, that's a long time to bleed. I mean, it wasn't pouring out, but still, it was bad enough. And he refused medical. He wouldn't, because he didn't have insurance. He didn't want all this stuff going on. Well, anyway, they ended up showing up and he refused the medical. So we want to kind of maybe prevent that. Again, it's one situation. It's probably in 21 years of dissecting stuff. Again, I don't know with this particle board, but we haven't had any issues. The worst thing we had was a gal got spritzed a little bit in the eye when she was slicing into, I think it was a cow heart. It's a little juicy, and she got a little she had glasses even, but somehow, nothing's foolproof. We didn't send her to the Eyewash station. It wasn't a big deal, but it was enough that's the worst that's happened. No cuts or anything like that. A few fires have started in chemistry classes on the benches. Little things happen. But anyway, that's available. I'm not trying to push it. I didn't know it even existed until just last week in one of our meetings it came up. So that's that. I don't want to harp on it. And the rest of this you can certainly preview on your own. All right. All this administrative stuff takes forever, doesn't it? Lab safety. Between now and next Tuesday, I want you guys to go through, it's a short PowerPoint. I'll pull it up. It's just a brief PowerPoint on lab safety. I gotta share. Oops. I have to share my screen differently for that. Well, we'll go through it right now together. All right, so this is us. We when you take advanced, I don't think we'll go through this. It's the same thing for advanced. So you'll have to do one little thing. But faulty technique is one of the chief causes of accidents, certainly. And it involves the human element. We do make mistakes. So we're trying to, in essence, limit the possibility for mistakes and accidents, and if they learning opportunities, whatever you want to call them. And if they do happen, how do we resolve them? Now, mainly identifying what hazards and safety equipment we have, PPE that we can use, and then just the basic expectations. So we'll watch this video. It'll give us some of the basics. We don't deal with a lot in here because we handle models for the most part. Now, that doesn't mean there might, there are other items in the room, but I think we do about 4 dissections. So we'll be handling sharps. We'll be handling some other items that way. But I have gloves, aprons, masks. Well, you have masks, glasses, everything you need the proper PPE we have here to do those labs. So if you in advanced, we do a little bit more with fire and heat and boiling and chemicals and pouring and stuff like that. We do a couple of things that way. But if you break anything, just let me know so I can clean it up. If you cut yourself, injure yourself, hurt yourself, I mean, again, just let me know. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna avoid you or whatever, or not points or anything. So we don't really deal with any hazardous material. Some of the chemicals in the preservatives, just like anything else, it's a chemical preservative. You're probably going to want to avoid drinking it or, pouring it in your eye, the basics. So, again, physical hazards, chemical hazards, electrical hazards, fire hazards. We'll go through. If a fire does, again, we're not going to be dealing with fire. So I don't know. Anyway, hazard is something that, so this covers like chemistry as well too, Hazard is something potential to cause harm. Risk is the chance of harm when exposed to the hazard. Hazard, a backpack left in the aisle, so it's a trip and fall hazard, right? So stuff, so there's things that we don't really think about maybe as being a hazard. We limit the lab size to 8 students. So they're 2, 2, 2, and 2 if we have a full class. So you have plenty of room on the desktops to have your stuff. Especially Hannah and Jacob, they've got everything today. They got the whole lot. So yeah, you guys can spread out as much as you want. Oh, and no food or drink in the labs. So you can today, but not an official lab day. But oh man, that's a big one. Not for me, but the boss. Food or drink in here will get me in big trouble. You won't get in trouble, but I will. And I don't like to be in trouble. I'm a conflict-free kind of guy. I resolve conflict by avoiding it. Yes, typically, I don't avoid it. I see it and then try to get it ironed out. So yeah, there's a table, the cart right here is normally right outside the room. So you can bring food and drink. It just has to be on that cart right outside the door. So this is sometimes used as a microbiology lab. So, they don't want stuff getting in your beverages or, anyway. So for future reference, that's, I guess, lab safety stuff, rule 1 that they have. We don't handle microorganisms or acids, so we don't need to worry about that. Someone could trip. So anyway, every time follow the guidelines, appropriate lab attire. So appropriate lab attire, no open toes. So you have to wear shoes and socks. And well, I don't know if you wear socks, but your shoes have to be closed toe. So no Crocs with the holes in them, no sandals, no flip flops. Okay? What else? Lab attire. Sleeves, if we're dealing with chemicals, I have lab coats, so sleeves are going to be essential, but we don't deal with chemicals this semester. So when we do the dissections, you probably, you could wear a lab coat or lab apron if you want. So anyway, you don't want to have sleeves either that get in the way. So you don't want too much sleeve. But let's see. Yeah, food and drink, of course. If you have long hair during a lab, you want to have it kind of pulled back. Again, primarily for when we're doing dissections. I mean, when you're looking at models and doing stuff, it probably won't get in the way. But if you have long hair and it's hanging down and you're cutting stuff, and that can get tricky. So keep that in mind. Have a hair tie with you. Let's see, clothes must completely cover skin from shoulders to ankles. So again, you can have sleeves, short sleeves. But yeah, generally we want no shorts even. They generally want pants and shoes and socks. But again, it is kind of the end of summer. We're not going to be dealing with any chemicals these first several weeks. So, and again, shoes closed toed, avoid loose clothes and remove dangling jewelry or scarves. We provide gloves, we provide goggles, so you don't have to worry about that. Eating, drinking, smoking, applying cosmetics or lip balm even. Well, with a mask, a little harder to do that anyway. Prohibited in areas where labs are performed. Oh yeah, and handling your contact lenses. Food and drink are not to be stored in refrigerators, freezers, cabinets, or on shelves. Yeah, you don't even really want to know what's in the fridge back there. You certainly don't want to put any of your food or beverages in there. Okay. So anyway, like I say, we have that cart. It's usually sitting out there. Clean workstation. So again, all of our containers are labeled. The bench beforehand is cleaned. So when we leave today, I'll go through and give it a spritz. You guys don't have to worry about it. But on a normal lab, if we're cutting and stuff, I'll have all of the chemicals out. And everything that we use when we throw away, some of the stuff you dissect we'll hang on to. Others we just throw it right in the garbage. We'll double bag them. I'll have the disposable bags for them. But yeah, generally, even the dissection fluids that can be dumped right down the drain. And the Elkhorn water treatment facility will take care of it, hopefully. So anyway, yeah, biohazard, any agent or condition that's hazard to humans or the environment. So bacteria, this is more from microbiology. And again, generally this lab isn't we don't do much with micro in here, but the next door they do. And when they do, sometimes they use our incubators. And so anyway, you never know. Again, this is all from microbiology. Glass sharps, anything metal or glass wise, we use the red hard container. So don't put any broken test tubes or scalpels or razor blades in the bag. You'd want to, we would put like, if we do blood testing and you've got alcohol swabs or whatever, those can go in the bag, but anything hard or sharp is going to go in those red bins. Same with, if your gloves, your gloves can just be thrown in the garbage unless they've come into contact with, something hazardous, but we don't deal with anything hazardous, so they shouldn't. But anyway, dissected specimens, again, this stuff primarily goes in the garbage. And again, when it comes to disposal requirements for our dissected specimens, I'll take care of that. But you can see what I do with them. Some of them I keep because we can reuse them in future classes. Some of them are beyond keepability, so I have to double bag them and throw them away. Okay. Vacuum sealed bags, dissection hazards. Again, the tools we use scalpels, tweezers, blunt probes, scissors. Again, generally the odors, some students have issues with the odors. So I'll have windows open, you'll have a mask on. But the odor is, again, they've come a long way with odors for preservatives. So they're not too bad anymore. We don't really deal with heat or flame in this class. For dissection, again, you wear PPE. I'll provide you with goggles and the lab coat or apron as well as gloves. Formalin is, they used to use formaldehyde. Now they use formalin, which has got less formaldehyde in it. Formaldehyde is pretty intense. So that's all that, some are soaked in ethanol. But yeah, never, and don't eat anything, no matter how good you think it might look. Practice good housekeeping. Dissection tools, safety, cut away from your body, not toward you. Grasp sharp instruments by the handles. And again, we don't do any dissections till sometime in October. So we've got plenty of time. And again, the hard containers are where the sharps will go if you break any. Andrew did have a, if we break any glass, I don't know what he did with that box. I think he keeps it in this room. The broken glass, yeah, the that same container you see there. Andrew's our lab prep assistant. He keeps it right in there. So if you break any glass, just let me know. I've got everything we need to clean it up. Anyhow, safety data sheets. Again, we don't deal with any chemicals in here, so we don't have to worry about that for now. Let's see. Splashes and Eyewash station is going to be right behind this. So if we do get something in our eyes and we need to wash them out, this is where we'll come. But again, we're going to we'll have PPE on, so that shouldn't be a problem. We're not dealing with chemicals, so you don't have to take a shower. If I pull this thing will run for 15 minutes straight. I can't stop it. So don't pull the, don't purposely or accidentally pull this, because it'll just pour for 15 minutes on a timer. Anyway, again, anything that happens, I'll be here to deal with it. So if there's a fire, certainly, you know, we would take care of that. Again, we're not using fire, so I don't know why we would have fire. Same with any of this heat. We're not doing any of the heat. I do have a first aid kit, so if you do get a cut, if anything happens and you need a Band-Aid or some gauze or anything, just let me know. And again, yeah, report everything to me. There's only 7 of us in here, so, well, 8 including me. So we pretty much know what's going on at all times. Okay, and if anything happens, just talk to me and we'll take care of it. We'll see it before it happens, and that's why we'll prevent it. All right. So that is so you can go through that. There's a little checklist that just goes with that, and then there's a short quiz, 10-question quiz. So take that between now and next Tuesday. It's extra credit too, so the credit that you get, it'll go into your grade book as extra points. All right, so that pretty much sums up some of those links. Now I'm going to finish up and then we'll be done for the day, unless you guys want to take a break and then be here for, I've got probably like 10 more minutes to go. Okay. These links here, I've already kind of gone through them. This will take you directly to OpenStax. This will take you directly to the visible body. This is another e-text or virtual text called Boundless A&P. It's equally good as, it's just as good as OpenStax. It's just another tool, so you can click on that. I'll come back to units in a second. Google Slides. This is where I have all of my slide decks for the whole semester. So it's got Unit 1. There are 4 slide decks for Unit 1. 2 for Unit 2, 3 for Unit 3, 3 for Unit 4, and 4 for Unit 5. So if I click on these will open as Google Slides. You can, if you have PowerPoint or you prefer PowerPoint, you can click File, Download, and then click Microsoft PowerPoint. And you can download this as a PowerPoint. Okay. All of my Google Docs or slides or sheets, anything I have in Google that you click on is read only. So if you want your own copy of this to be able to type into or take notes on, you can either click File, Download PowerPoint, or you can just hit Make a Copy. And if you click Entire Presentation, it'll click that. You can rename it whatever you want. I'll just name it Copy Of. So it's an identical item as the one you just saw. in Google Slides. Except this is now your copy. You can type into it. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. All right. So that is, so between now and next Tuesday, you probably want to go through that Unit 1A introduction slide deck. Now, when you go to course YouTube channel, I left my spring welcome and intro in here because it's very similar, and it might be a little clearer because I'm at home with a with a background and I mean, you know, so I do what I just did today in that video. So that's why I left it in there. I'll put this one in there too, and every week I'll be adding to. But these have so that slide deck I just showed you, intro to the body, is right here as me lecturing about it, because all of your lecture stuff is online. Technically, our 2 hours together is all lab stuff. That doesn't mean I won't be talking about stuff, but yeah, you're going to want to, for Unit 1, which is the first 3 weeks. Okay, so in the first 3 weeks, you're going to want to watch these 4 videos. Now, this one that says generally impede visible body cells, that goes through some of the how-tos of visible body. From me, not from visible body. It's more lecturing. But we do that in here a little bit too. So next Tuesday, we're going to go through some visible body stuff. We're going to look at some models, cell models. Okay. So anyhow, that course YouTube channel. Okay. So units. When I click on units, it's going to show me 5 folders with the 5 units. Also has the final exam in there at the bottom. You have 3 attempts. Highest score being kept. Okay. So if you click on these folders, well, first of all, it tells you what is in each unit. So we're doing chapters 1 through 5 in OpenStax for Unit 1. Hold on, I gotta change something real quick. Okay, so if you click on Unit 1, you have some directions for the section, engage, click on the Padlet homepage. So that's over here. You can access the Padlet homepage. I'll pull that up in a few minutes. The second thing you're going to want to do is again, go to the YouTube playlist, watch the Unit 1 videos. And then you also need to take a couple quizzes in your visible body. So you'd go to your visible body course page. Okay, and then I have highlighted kind of the basics of what you want to have done for Unit 1 in visible body. These are just the modules and practice quizzes. So this just talks a little bit about getting started with visible body, guided notes, the ebook. So it's just kind of just a little bit of a intro to the visible body stuff, the modules and practice quizzes. And again, so between now and next Tuesday, get into visible body a little bit, poke around. You can start taking some quizzes if you want. You don't have to, because most of what we're going to do next Tuesday is go through visible body. So you have a better idea. But again, between now and then, if you can get into visible body and, you know, certainly get an account. And then once you have that, just kind of follow what I have in here for Unit 1. And again, if right away you're kind of like, oh my gosh, this is kind of overwhelming, just don't worry about it, because we'll be together on Tuesday and I'm going to go through it in a lot of detail. Okay. But I think you guys are pretty sharp, so you should be fine. All right, now once you're in there, the actual graded stuff, so are the graded quizzes. So graded quiz, graded quiz. Anytime you see graded quizzes in visible body, those are what you're going to click on. So I'll come over to visible body just real briefly. And if we click these pluses, they'll open up the folders. So those screenshots that I have in Blackboard are simply what you see here, just blown up a little bit. Okay, so getting started with visible body, then do the getting started quiz. Okay. So anyhow, so between now and next Tuesday, at the very least, try to get these first couple minuses here, these first two folders. Getting started with the courseware, do those. And then introduction to human anatomy and physiology, go through those. These are just ebook. This is a little visible body ebook about prefixes, suffixes. It's a lot of terminology of A&P. Okay, so just the basics. And then if you're feeling really spunky and that's worked out for you, just move into the cells and cell metabolism. Click the modules. If I click this modules and practice quiz, it just comes up with something that looks like this. And you can start right away. You can just click on that. It'll open it up in a new window. And it's kind of like an e-text, visible body e-text. There we go. I have a lot of files and folders open, tabs, so things move a little slow sometimes. Invisible body is extremely bulky. It's like it's truly like a visible body. You can even, if you have an iPad and you have augmented reality or VR glasses, this has a setting on it where you can actually see this as virtual reality. And you can dissect it, you can move. I mean, it's nuts, the features on visible body. This is truly a remarkable tool that you're going to dive into over the next like 14 weeks or so. Okay. So anyway, we'll go through visible body in more detail together next week. Got a couple practice quizzes as well. So anyway, there was one other thing in visible body I wanted to show you. Under my apps, see this over here? I know this is small font. There we go. My apps, click on that. And this is probably way worth the price of admission. Whatever you paid for visible body, 50, 80 bucks, somewhere in that range. These 5 apps that you get access to for life. These are like 25 a piece. Like if you went to the App Store in iTunes, or not iTunes, the Apple Store, or you went into the Google Play Store, these are like 25, 30 bucks a piece. You get them for they're part of your package, your subscription or whatever to visible body. These two, especially this one, we're going to use a ton, or you are. Launch Human Anatomy Atlas. So if you're on a computer, you just launch it and you have access. If you have a tablet or a phone, these are apps that you can put on your tablet or your phone, and it tells you how to do all of that. Has previous versions as well, has what username that you'd use and everything. So it has all the info and details for how to get these apps on your phone. Again, they're pretty heavy lifting, so you need, yeah. You already did. I think, right? You're registered. I'll come look at it. Keep it open. Yeah, it should be included in your, because you already, Yeah, you're already in here. So you should be able to click my apps and then be able to launch those. And again, they're big, they take up a lot of gig space on your tablet or your phone if you do download the app. So Yesenia, you're talking about the apps it's telling you have to pay for? Oh, so you just some students however. So yeah, so you can fix this thing, right? I didn't know that was a thing. So but I just assumed the students were in the roster of what they got. So yeah, if you have, you can get, you can set up a visible body. You can click on the link that I sent, or the one that's in Blackboard, and it'll take you. It'll say either pay for it or get a code. The code is what you get from the bookstore, or you pay out of your pocket. Okay? A couple things, and then the third option is you get a 14-day free trial. So if you do the 14-day free trial, then after 14 days, then it gives you 14 days to pay. And it keeps your work. So anyway, awesome. Okay. Let's go back to Blackboard. We're just about done because we're going to spend some time on visible body again between now and next Tuesday. Try to poke around a little bit and tour it a little. Same with all of Blackboard. Just tour around, get yourselves familiar with what's going on with that. So let's go to the Padlet real quick. If I click the Padlet homepage icon, it's going to take me to this screen here. We are all of these green ones. Okay, we're the green ones. ones. The blue ones are advanced. Doing animal biology as well this semester, but we are using the green ones. So you can see they're in unit order. So unit 1, well, they're not in order. Unit 2 is down here. But anyway, so if I click on unit 1, Padlet, it's going to give, I put a series of videos. Again, it's like a wiki board. If you know what a wiki board is, it kind of looks like this. But this is these are videos. You can watch them directly right in Padlet. So if I click this, I can watch it, like that.
Really look at yourself.
I can blow it up a little bit, full screen it. There's multiple ways to get that so you can actually see it. You'd have to have a telescope to see that.
But I mean, just look at your body.
There you
Hold
go.
your hand, wiggle it around, take a sip of water, hold your breath, sniff the air. These things are so simple for most of us that we don't give them.
Okay. So you can watch all of them. They're short, they're 5-10 minutes a piece. You can watch one of them, however you want to do it, but watch any one of these. Again, they're kind of fun. I'd watch them all. And then what you need to do at the bottom, there's a plus icon. So if you watch the crash course videos, and maybe some of you have watched crash course stuff before, he's really good. He's pretty entertaining. Amoeba Sisters are also pretty entertaining and have good presentations. And of course, Nat Geo's always got nice stuff. Professor Dave, he's not too bad. And then, there's some RN nursing study tips. You may want to look at those. So anyway, you can comment by just clicking the plus under it, whichever one you want, you did. And you just need to, for the subject line, put your name maybe for the subject. Okay, just put your name. Then you don't have to open a Padlet account. You can open a Padlet account if you want. It's free. It's all free. But it's just one of those things. It's another thing where your name and address, if you want to, that's fine. It does make it easier if you do have a Padlet account. Many of us at Gateway do use Padlet. So for the future, you've already got an account set up today that holds true for any class that uses Padlet. And what it does, it automatically has your name attached to your comments. Whereas if you don't put your name, if you don't have an account and you just put a comment in and you don't put your name anywhere in the comment, it just shows up as anonymous. So I don't know who it is. So like this one, see that they say anonymous, but she put her name at the end of it. That's Walmsley. Deshauna Stokes put her name at the end, right? So those are folks who didn't sign up for an account, which is fine. And then this person did, Samantha, and then she created a username that's still made it confusing for me. So anyway, she put her name in there too. Thomas put his, this is what it looks like if you put your name as a subject line. So any way you do it, make sure that you have your name in there somehow. See, all these that say anonymous don't have an account, but they put their name in. Now, Elena, she opened an account. That's why it automatically puts her name with her stuff. So I don't care either way. I would prefer that you open an account. I think over the long haul, it's easier for you, and you don't have to remember to put your name in every single time you do a Padlet. So anyway, but I also understand if you've got a whole ton of accounts already out, I get it. So, but anyway, you're required to comment under at least one of these Padlets. And again, many students respond under all of them. Now, what do I want you to write? I don't want anything you want. What do you think of the video? Was there one item in that video that really just blew your mind? Was there, whatever? It's totally subjective. Okay, so make comment. You can reply to other people's comments too. You can even, if I hit that, maybe you found a cool link somewhere that's related to that, you can put a link in there. Some of my students put links or other videos in. So you know, to kind of go with what we're doing. All right, so anyway, those are the Padlets, but you're still not done. Once you've done that, you need to go to the Padlet Quiz. And it's really not a quiz, it's just a questionnaire. It's a one question questionnaire. It just asks you, I'll click it. I click begin. The Padlet videos and websites were beneficial to your understanding of introductory A&P concepts. That's it. Click strongly agree, disagree, neither, whatever, right? Click one of those, click save and submit, and you're done with Padlet 1. So go into the Padlet, make a comment, go into the Padlet quiz, and tell me what you thought about it. What I do at the end of the semester is I look at it's a Likert scale. So I look at the statistics of the Likert scale for each Padlet and see if maybe I need to change some videos or tweak them. So far, so good. Students generally tend to like the Padlets. I've been doing them for over a year, and I've added some and subtracted some. So I think at this point, they're pretty well fine-tuned. Okay, so that's the Padlets. Yeah.
So when I go on like the Padlet, like there's nothing under like
Oh, the Padlet home page. Let's
yeah,
see.
like I went
Oh,
so I click on this
yeah.
here.
Well, it always shows the one.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do with that's good to know, is what I can do, it'll only take me a couple minutes, but I can put I'll put the links under. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to delete that link. And then what I'm going to do in the Padlet quizzes. So you guys go into the Padlet quizzes, and what I'll do is put the web links directly to the Padlet. So Padlet 1. And I'll get the first one up at the very least, and then I'll get the rest of them in there this afternoon. So I'm not going to sit here while you watch me get all the Padlets in. So now, hold on a sec. Go under Padlet quizzes, and there should be a link for Padlet 1.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll get around it somehow. Excellent. So I'll do the same thing for all of them. I'll do that this afternoon. Okay, good. I'm glad that we found that. Thank you. All right, 1 and 2 are in there. I'll do the rest of them today. So let's see. So assignments is the other one. These are just hyperlinks to the 5 assignments. They're in Google Docs. I've got them. So if you click, all right, let me go back. I think some of you were. So if I click on assignments and I click, this is a drop box. So if I click that, it's going to take me to the drop box. Tells you the due date and the points possible. And then right here are the assignments. One is already a Word doc and the other one is a Google Doc. So if you prefer Word doc, now all of them, the rest of them, I think 2 through 5 are only Word docs in there, because sometimes when you convert a Google Doc into Word or a Word doc and put it into Google Docs, it doesn't translate correctly. But anyway, regardless, you do have the documents, both of them. I'll click on this one and see. So it's primarily going to be definitions at the beginning. Now, the thing about these says, please type or write in, so type probably, a brief description, definition, or anything that will assist you in understanding the term. You can be as concise as you feel you need to be, and you do not need to use complete sentences. So this is not busy work. It may seem like busy work, but this isn't for me. This is for you to, these are kind of your checkoffs of Unit 1. These are the terms, because there's probably 500 terms in Unit 1 that you don't need to know, but you need to know like maybe 80 of them. So these are like the top 80 terms that you should really be familiar with. So as you go through your readings, as you go through watching the video lecture, as you go through the Padlets, as you go through your OpenStax key terms and review, as you're doing all of your work, have this have it available and do it concurrently with what your with your lecture watching or your textbook reading or your whatever you're doing. Have this, because this is your checklist. This is stuff you need to know. Now, how you define these, this is your verbiage, it's your wording. Okay? Anatomy, you can simply just write the word structure if you want. You can go all out, say anatomy is the study of human or other animal structure. I mean, you can go as big as you want or as little as you want. The idea is it's for you, and it's your tool for remembering and recalling what these terms are. So when I see the word organism, or I see the word atom, or whatever, like a lot of this is word association. So you may have some sort of something that reminds you of an atom, when you see, whatever it is. So when I grade these, I don't go through these and read them with a fine-tooth comb, because these are your definitions. They're your words to help you learn these items. Okay. So anyway, there's a handful of those. And then there's some visible body stuff you don't necessarily need to do. You know, you can distinguish between anatomy and physiology without going into visible body. Okay. You can distinguish that based on the lecture material. So anyway, there's some short answer questions. The key is for you guys is the identification stuff. This is where visible body, these images are from the visible body system. Okay. And again, next week, we're going to go through all of that stuff. But yeah, here's a couple questions on what is homeostasis, what's negative feedback, positive feedback. I'd go through that in the lecture stuff as well. That's all in your textbook. You can Google, search these. You can just highlight positive feedback mechanism, right click, copy, paste it into the internet. You can click explore positive feedback mechanism. Okay. You can do that with every single one of these if you want. Okay, so anyway, these are all identifications. And remember, and so we're going to go through this. Like, these are different types of tissues. That's week 2 and 3. Okay, so the next couple weeks, we're going to be going through a lot of this information. Okay. So between now and Tuesday, just start diving in. Say, any of this, like you could highlight each term, right click it, and click define anatomy. Boom. Computers are fancy nowadays, aren't they? They make things very straightforward. But that's how it is in the clinic, right? I don't need you guys to be remembering so much stuff that your brains explode. I need you to understand how to access the information as it relates to the specific situation you're dealing with. Because all that stuff's available. We're not, in the past, it's like we all hid it from you, right? I've got it right here, but you've got to go through all these hoops in order for me to give you the key. That's ridiculous. It's narcissistic, really, right? Hierarchy. I've got one over on you, and no, we don't play those games. Define atom. There you go. Basic unit of a chemical element. Type it in. You can even go a step further. I know students do this. That's for you. If you just want to fill it out to get it done, very easy to do it. If you want to fill it out to learn it, that's a route that, again, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you there's a right way or a wrong way. In fact, it's quite the opposite. For the old saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Well, that applies in here because we're doing anatomy. We won't skin any cats though. Okay, so anyway, once you're done, how do you, first of all, if you do this as a Word document or a Google Doc, remember you have to file and hit make a copy because you're not going to be able to type into this, right? If you tried typing into a couple of you have it pulled up, Anonymous Fox and Anonymous Sheep have it pulled up, they can't type it into it. They would have to ask me for permission, and then I'd have to send you an email saying, no, I don't give permission to edit my documents. Remember how we went to file and then clicked make a copy, and then it became your own. Okay, so that's how you get your own Google Doc. If you want it as a Word doc, go to download and hit Microsoft Word, and it'll download as a Word doc. Or you could have already done that over here and click this. This is the Word doc, and it'll download it for you right there. Okay, so that's how that rolls. And then once you're ready to put it in the Dropbox, if it's a Word document, you save that Word document, you hit browse local files, find where it is. And then you can drag and drop it. You can double click it. You can do whatever you want. It's like an email attachment. I think all of you have probably done an email attachment at some point. If you do make a copy from here, are any, before I even go any further, then we're done. Are any of you going to use Google Docs? Okay, then you are, okay. Okay, so if you use Word docs, you know how to save a Word document, right? Okay, and then you just drag and drop that into the Dropbox. Okay, yeah, browse local files, it'll show up. If you're gonna submit a Google Doc instead, remember you have to make your own copy. It'll ask you what you want to call it. So I would put my last name, for example, and now that's my copy. So this is yours, Ramirez, General A&P Unit 1 assignment. So now this is yours. You can type right into that. Okay. But when you want to submit it to me, you have to click share. And then you have to click down here, get link. You have to change this to anyone with the link. And then you have to copy the link. And then you can email it to me. Or you can put the link in the Dropbox right in here where it says comments. You can just put the link in like that and submit it. Okay. Or you can type my email address in here and then hit done, and it'll send me an email saying a document has been shared with you. Yeah, you send you. Nope, everything's due December 7th. You can go at your own pace. Yep, this class is designed, it's a hybrid, but it means that it's basically done online, right? So yeah, it's set up to be at your own pace. So you could feasibly have the whole course done in 3 weeks. Take a lot of work, a lot of time, but you could. Then we got 3 shots at the final exam. So part of the, especially the fall, right? By the time, you guys know this, right? By the time post Halloween, Thanksgiving, that once that hits, man, it's like a whirlwind of stuff, right? You've got other classes, you've got jobs, you've got a life, it's like the world, the clock gets set back. I mean, so much starts happening that you need to take advantage of now till basically November 1st. You've got a couple months, try to get as much of this knocked out as possible, because then come Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, we only have 2 weeks to go. So you could feasibly have everything done by Thanksgiving. You could feasibly, So any of the work we do in here, as far as lab goes, is strictly to assist you and guide you with some of your visible body work. But also, I want you to do some dissection, so you get to have that 3 dimensions. But I also, want you to work on the models and have that multi-dimensional experience, as opposed to just 2 dimensions on a screen. I used to give a lab exam where I'd set up everything around the room, but that's only for face-to-face. So for hybrids, again, it's all set up to be virtual, except for those 2 hours a week where we get together and basically you guys come with questions, come with, I'll have some stuff for you, but yeah, that's kind of our time to hash out whatever we need to hash out regarding any issues. So that is it.